Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to an ESPN NFL 2K5 franchise rebuild with the Detroit Lions. We are officially in Season 2, and unfortunately, you're going to have to wait just one game into this video to see our number 8 overall pick, Cedric Navarro, do his thing on the defensive line. He is out for one more week with an epic case of food poisoning, but regardless, we have the Dallas Cowboys, who largely look the same as last year. Amazing defense, not as amazing of an offense, but just like we said the last time we've played them, or the few times that we've played them, they have pieces. So before we jump into the second season of the Lions rebuild, I'm here to ask you to sub up, smash that subscription button. We're on our way to 250. Your likes and your comments are always appreciated as well. So let's just jump right into this thing. Season 2 is on. Game 1, Lions are visiting the Dallas Cowboys, so we'll have to wait until week 2 to have our home debut. But regardless, the Lions are here in Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas, to take on the Dallas Cowboys. Now, we made one big signing last year. Well, we made a few signings in free agency, but Chris Hovan was the big signing in our free agency, and on the other end of the ball from us is Leroy Glover, who was on the Cowboys last year, and he is returning to the staunch defensive line. We'd have to wait to see the offense in action, though, as the Cowboys win the toss and take over. Julius Jones getting a great run up the middle for 9 yards. Big Sean Rogers able to take him down, and then Teddy Lehman in his second year with the Lions stepping through and getting that tackle in the backfield, but then a missing coverage leads to a 24-yard completion for Jason Witten. Let's move those chains all the way into Detroit territory. Carter taking over from Detroit's 37, throws that one over the middle, intended for Terry Glenn, gonna fall incomplete. 2nd and 10, Julius Jones getting the handoff from shotgun, gonna get it up the middle about 6 yards. The tackle from our rookie Sam Hamilton, now our starter at strong safety. Carter's gonna complete this one to Keyshawn Johnson for another 7 yards on the hook route. That's a first down for the Cowboys, and they're only gonna need one more play to get themselves into the end zone. A beautiful connection from Carter to Terry Glenn for 24 yards and a touchdown. The Cowboys strike first, and they strike quickly. Barely a minute and change has gone into this one, and the Cowboys have already found themselves into the end zone. A perfect start. If you're a Cowboy fan, the Lions take over trying to do something with their first possession. That first pass is complete from Harrington to Azahir Hakeem for 16 yards and a first down. Kevin Jones is going to take his first run over to the right side for a good 13 yards, and he's going to get another few out of it off of the face mask call, as we see from the backside of the referee. A huge face mask call. It's going to take us all the way up to the Dallas 37 for our first down. So just like that, the Lions are in Dallas territory. Harrington's going to drop back, throw that one over to Hakeem on the hook route for a 5-yard gain. Newman in on the tackle. 2nd and 5, Jones is running left this time, runs into Marcellus Wiley. The big mouth, the bigger man, gets a loss of 1 on the play. Harrington's going to bail out on that one, tries to dive for the first down. Zach Thomas is there for the tackle, and it's going to lead to a 45-yard field goal by Jason Hanson. The kick is up, and the kick is good. The Lions are on the board. The score is 3-7. The Cowboys take back over from their own 24. Julius Jones is going to bounce off of his own tackle there and then get a bunch of room in front of him. That's a 13-yard gain on the tackle out of bounds from our rookie Sam Hamilton. Jones is going to take the next run up the middle, this time only getting 4 yards, which feels like a little compared to the last couple. Boss Bailey in on the hit. Jones again going to get tackled quickly on this 1-yard run. Isaac Hilton, our backup defensive end, in for that stat. And then the sack from Sean Rogers. Big Sean breaking through, getting his first sack in the first game of the year. That's always a good sign. The Cowboys would punt it away, and the Lions would take over from their own 22. Schlesinger, his first carry of the year, only getting 2 yards up the middle on the tackle from Thomas. 2nd and 8, Harrington has Rogers open on the right side. It was in his hands, but he drops it on the contact. That's going to bring up a 3rd and long. 3rd and 8 from the shotgun. Harrington looking over to the left, but just skies that one over Kevin Jones' head. I'm not sure he would have had much room in front of him to run it, and the Lions punt it right back as quickly as they got it. Jones is going to get up the middle for 4 yards there on the tackle from Lehman. 2nd and 6. Jones runs it over to the right side. Sam Hamilton, already making a difference in his first game of his rookie season, gets that tackle there for the gain of only 2 yards, and then Carter would miss that pass for an incompletion on the 3rd down, bringing up a 1st and 10 from the Detroit 22, and then another drop pass from Charles Rogers. Kevin Jones has a little bit of blocking, but until he runs into Dat Win, and only after the 2-yard gain are we going to run into the second quarter of play. After 1, the Cowboys are in front of the Lions by a score of 7-3. On the 3rd and 8 in the second quarter, Harrington's going to drop back, He's looking around for somebody to be open. He tries to find Roy Williams, who once again, maybe that was in his hands, maybe it wasn't. But regardless, that's good defense from the Dallas Cowboys and another punt away from the Lions. The Cowboys take over with good field position, 1st and 10 from their own 44. Carter's going to find Terry Glenn off of the bounce off of his own hands. So apparently you can catch a pass, even if you bobble it a little bit. That's going to bring them into Dallas territory on the 19-yard gain. Carter immediately finds Keyshawn Johnson for 17 yards, and then Julius Jones finds a gap. Boss Bailey trying to chase him down. He gets the tackle, but tackles him into the end zone. That is a 21. That is a 20-yard touchdown run by Julius Jones. They're doing backflips in Dallas, and the Cowboys are now up by a score of 14-3. The Lions trying to get back into this thing. Let Willie Blade just waltz right through the line right there. That's going to be a sack for a loss of 6. That left guard spot, Fiore, tends to be a weak spot for us on the pass protection. After another drop by Roy Williams, Harrington's going to find a prayer to Azahir Hakeem, but he only gets 15 yards on that completion, and that's going to force another punt for this Lions offense. The Cowboys, after that first incomplete pass, go back to Julius Jones because that's been working really well for them so far. Holmes hits him at the line, no gain on the play. And on the 3rd and 10, Carter doesn't like what he sees downfield. He's going to throw the ball and the possession away. The Lions get another chance to try and get a score on the board before the half is over, and that is certainly not a good way to do it. Harrington almost throws to Roy Williams on that play. It was almost going the other direction, but Kevin Jones manages to get a little day life, throws a nice little stiff arm at Roy Williams, has a lot of space in front of him, but can't quite get himself into the end zone. That is a 45-yard gain from Kevin Jones, who we are really hoping is going to have a great second year for the Lions. The next play, Derek Hamilton grabs a pass for 19 yards over the middle. Nice to see Derek Hamilton grab a pass after losing an entire year to a torn MCL last year. Harrington scrambles, looking for end zone, doesn't quite get there. Williams hits him just before the line. Kevin Jones on the 2nd and 2 is going to run to the right side, gets stopped just before the first down line, and then Kevin again reaches over the line, somehow gets in between that little space between the first down line and the touchdown. So we just need one more yard for Kevin Jones to get into the end zone, and just like that, the Cowboys are back within 4 points. It's a score of 10-14. Carter just jukes us out of our freaking shoes right there. As you can see, I was user controlling Holmes, and he just shook me into Sunday. That was a 13-yard scramble for a first down. Now from the Dallas 40 on 2nd down, Julius Jones is going to get a nice 9-yard run. Hamilton and the other rookie Farmer are in there to stop it from being a first down, but as you can see, we very frustratingly missed that tackle with Boss Bailey. Would have been for a loss, but instead it's a 4-yard gain and a first down. Jones only getting 1 yard up the middle again with the stop from Holmes. 2nd and 9. Carter going to throw this one to Jones this time. It's a 7-yard gain. Lehman and Hamilton are both in there for the tackle, making it a 3rd and 2. Jones is going to get up the middle for 2 yards. It's a good tackle by Lehman. Dallas takes a timeout. We weren't sure if they were over the line or not, and they were not over the line. From the 4th and inches, it's a 54-yard field goal from Dallas, and that one is up and well through the uprights, giving Dallas a lead of 17-10. We were hoping to get into the end zone before the half was over, and suddenly we're giving Dallas points before the half is over. Looking for a little bit of something before the half ends. We get a call. It's a defensive pass interference, but as you can see, Charles still ropes that one in. It's going to be a gain of 38 yards, but on the next one, we get a holding call slapped on us. Tough holding call. It was on our new tackle on the left side, DM, I believe his name is, which halts the drive right there, and it's going to take us into halftime with the Lions down in Texas by just a touchdown. Honestly, feels like it could have been way worse, but we're only down by a score, 17-10, heading into halftime. Looking at the stats so far, we're putting up a good fight. Time of possession, pretty much even. Total yards, pretty close. We're down by about 20 or so. We're not quite rushing the same as them. Our passing is right behind them. So far, a decent battle, and it could be anyone's game, but that is not the way you want to start out the second half. Jones going backwards for a loss of 2 yards. The very next play, Harrington doesn't see anyone downfield, gets sacked by Wiley for a loss of 6 yards. It's now suddenly 3rd and 18. Harrington from the shotgun, dropping back, throwing it over the middle. Rodgers in his hands, out of his hands. The theme of this video, it is the drop pass bug that seems to have infected the Detroit Lions in this first game of the season, and I don't want to give you many spoilers, but they might have continued feeling it into the second game. Carter finds Terry Glenn there for 16 yards. That brings him up to the Detroit 35. Carter throws a dangerous one over the middle, bounces off of the back of Dre Bly's helmet. That one's going to fall incomplete, 2nd and 10. Carter looking over to the left side, finding Dwayne Bates, of all people, over to the left, has some room in front of him, almost gets into the end zone. It's a 33-yard gain. Carter going to pass on first down here, had Witten open, but just misses him even with the dive. And on the 2nd and goal, Julius Jones is going to get up the middle. He's going to get hit by Boss Bailey, but it's not enough to even bring him down, let alone keep him out of the end zone. And the Cowboys have started to blow this thing open. It is now a score of 24-10 as the Lions take the ball back over on their own 20. Jones gets up the middle for just 1 yard. Laurie Glover was right on that from that defensive tackle position. Another in and out, just right in and out of Hakeem's hands. It's always frustrating when it shows it like he has possession and then he drops it, just like right here when Roy Williams once again catches the ball and then drops it upon getting hit. So 3 downs, 3 outs, and the Cowboys get possession back with a chance to extend their lead a little bit farther. Jones only gets 1 yard to the left side thanks to Hall and Bailey combining for the stop. 2nd and 9. Carter's going to complete that one to Terry Glenn, who is unfortunately injured on the play. I say unfortunately because he was having a great game so far and was looking to be a great asset for the Detroit Lions, for the Cowboys, but we are not going to see Glenn for the rest of this game. But on the 3rd and 6, it's a next man up mentality, and Antonio Bryant steps up for that catch and a gain of 18 yards. Carter is going to get sacked by Chris Hovan, immediately getting some of that $7 million paycheck that we're paying him to do exactly that. And on the very next play, Terrence Holt gets his first interception of the season, stepping up into that floater. We're going to credit the defensive line with getting some more pressure on Carter there. Give him our first 360 dunk of the year, and we'll see that one more time. Terrence Holt, who we're expecting big things of this year out of that free safety position, was in the perfect place for that pass and steps right into that interception. 1st and 10 from the Detroit 23. Jones is running for his absolute life, going to get tackled by Dexter Coakley. It's a miracle he even got 1 yard out of that, and he's going to immediately lose 4 on that toss to the left side. Roy Williams was right on that. Harrington's going to throw over the middle for his rookie. Brett Richards getting a gain of 20 yards, going to keep the Lions' drive alive. Once again, Jones tossing to the right side, running for his life, getting chased down by Greg Ellis. That's a loss of 6 yards. So Jones has lost 9 yards in this possession alone. That toss over to the left side going to go in and out of Steven Alexander's hands, a familiar story. On the 3rd and 16, Brett Richards is all alone on the out route. He's got nothing but green space in front of him, but luckily Roy Williams for the Cowboys chases him down. Regardless, that is a 50-yard gain. We're going to see that one more time. That is the play of the game for the Lions so far. Our rookie Brett Richards out of Boston College, showing off his hands. Could use a little bit more time on the shuttle run, but regardless, we're up at the Dallas 16, knocking at the door. Jones is going to get the door immediately shut right in his face. He had a bunch of Cowboys hit him there. Moreland Greenwood is going to get credited with the tackle. And on the 2nd down, we thought Roy was going to go out on the cutout to the left side. Harrington instead throws it into the middle of the end zone, and Hunter steps up for the interception. He very unwisely runs the interception out of the end zone, so the Cowboys take over from their own 3 on this one. Jones is going to get the run, gets no gain on the play. Boss Bailey is in there on the hit. 2nd and 10, once again, a frustrating user miss on my part. Julius Jones runs to the left side for a 6-yard gain. And going into the 4th quarter, the Cowboys are pretty much in all of the control of this one. It is a score of 24-10. 3rd and 4 just to keep the drive alive. They go past this time. Carter finds Antonio Bryant, who has stepped into that Terry Glenn spot, and gets the first down. Jones getting the run to the right side for 7 yards with the tackle from Lehman. Jones going to get another run. This time Boss Bailey gets a good hit on him, no gain on the play. And to stop the drive, they need something here. And Dre Bly steps in front of that pass from Carter. It's going to be incomplete, and there's still some life in these Detroit Lions if they can put anything together. Harrington dropping back on 1st down, throwing on the right flat to Schlesinger. That one's batted down like a volleyball by Dexter Coakley. Harrington dropping back from shotgun on the 2nd down, throwing it over to that right side. That one's just outright dropped by Roy Williams. It didn't even get into his possession. That was just stones for hands. And that's sort of the kind of day we're having today. And that 3rd down pass is very lucky to not be intercepted by the Cowboys defense, and it goes right back to the Cowboys, who Julius Jones gets a beautiful 11-yard run over to the right side. It's a few times today where he's bounced off of one of his linemen and then had a lot of room in front of him to run. The next run from Jones there over on the left side for 5 yards. Bailey's in there on the stop, and then another bounce off of a lineman, slips out of Bailey's tackle, gets 14 yards on that run over through the middle. Carter rolling over to his right side. He's going to find who else but Antonio Bryant, who has come in and replaced Tony Glenn in spades. He gets 14 yards and a first down. Avion Kaysen in for the tired Julius Jones, gets 3 yards up the middle. 2nd and 7, Kaysen's going to go up the middle again for just 1 yard this time. Boss Bailey on the stop. 3rd and 6, this would be a huge stop for the Lions, and they are able to get it right here, combined with Kalimba Edwards and Boss Bailey. That gives a 44-yard field goal for the Cowboys. That one is shanked over to the right side. No good. And with 3 minutes left in the game, let's see if the Lions can put anything on the board right here. We finally get a complete pass from Harrington to Charles Rogers. That's an 18-yard gain and a first down. This one over the middle to an open, as I hear, Hakeem. Thankfully, he hauls that one in. That's going to be a 25-yard gain. Suddenly, we're all the way up at the Dallas 22, but we immediately move backwards 7 yards on the sack from who else but Marcellus Wiley. Harrington throwing deep over to the end zone for Charles Rogers. That one is also going to be credited for a drop for Charles Rogers. Lots of those happening today. Also, lots of sacks. Glover getting through for a loss of 6. Harrington dropping back on 4th down. A desperation heave to a somehow wide open Charles Rogers. A huge mistake by the Dallas defense, and that's a touchdown on the gain of 35 yards for Charles Rogers. And honestly, we were just throwing up a prayer at this point. Nothing was going our way. You can see all of the defensive line breaking through, but also breaking through is Charles Rogers, who manages to slip behind the Dallas defense and get the touchdown. Now we go for the onside kick here. You see that we have a chance. It bounces off of someone's hands, but right into Avion Kaysen's hands, who recovers the onside kick for the Cowboys. Now on the 1st and 10 from the Detroit 43, Jones is going to run to the right side, and we're getting a nice tackle from Sam Hamilton for a loss of 1 yard. Great play by the rookie out of Stanford right there. Jones getting 5 yards on that run to the right side. Terrence Holt, I'm seeing now I want to call everybody Torrey. Terrence Holt getting the tackle on that one. And then to stop the drive right there, Jones gets up the middle for 1 yard. That's a tackle from Hall and a timeout from the Lions to get the ball back once again. Suddenly, the passing game is starting to come together on the post route from Steven Alexander, receiving that one for 32 yards down the field. Harrington's going to complete this one to Roy Williams, who manages to hold onto the ball for a 10-yard gain from the Dallas 45. Harrington's going to haul this one over the middle. We think it's dead to rights, but Ben Watson, our free agent signing from tight end, hauls that one in, and suddenly we've tied this one up with 17 seconds to go. Out of nowhere, the Detroit Lions score pretty much like 14 unanswered points after going down 17-10 at the start of the quarter. We're going to see this one more time, clearing both of the safeties, including Roy Williams, who you never see that sort of mistake from. So 2 lapses from the Dallas secondary has suddenly led to bonus football. We have overtime here in Texas, and the Lions managed to put their stuff together for a couple of drives, and they managed to get another chance at winning this ball game. Unfortunately, they lose the coin toss, which means the Cowboys will be receiving. They get a decent return and start from their own 30-yard line. Carter's going to find Antonio Bryant, who has been nothing short of brilliant since he came in for the injured Glenn, getting 6 yards on the play. I wanted to call him Torrey again. I know it's Terry Glenn. Carter's pass there is incomplete, and to keep his drive alive, this one's very important. Floats that up to Keyshawn Johnson, barely keeps his hands on it. Now, we wanted to challenge that, but you can't challenge inside of overtime, and the game would have done the booth review if he was out of bounds, so we just got to go with it. And right there, we have a lapse in coverage, and Keyshawn Johnson gets a 21-yard gain. That puts the Dallas Cowboys in very good position after that pass is incomplete, and they just need this one more play. Carter drops back, we send a little bit of pressure, and who else but Antonio Bryant is here to put the coffin in the Lions' hopes for a comeback. He takes that one in. It's a 36-yard gain. Like we said, Antonio Bryant came in for Glenn and arguably did things even better than Glenn did for the rest of the game that he was in for. He absolutely loses Dre Bly and Sam Hamilton on coverage. Dre can't recover with his speed, and the Cowboys are going to escape with victory here in this opening game of their season at home. The final score is Detroit 24 and Dallas 30. We'll take a look at the game stats before heading into week 2 and welcoming our first round draft pick, Cedric Navarro, into the fold. Now, looking at the tail of the stats tape, obviously we started throwing the ball a lot more because Kevin Jones started running backwards, which you hate to see. Kevin Jones had 65 yards at the end of the first half and he finished with 51, so that's how he did in this game, so not a good look for Kevin. Joey did okay, 14 for 30 in total. He had 2 touchdowns. He did have 1 interception, 328 total yards. As we said, Julius Jones was the star back of the day. Kevin Jones only those 51 yards. He did have that one big run for 45 yards. That was most of his production. He did manage to get into the end zone once for himself. Now, Charles Rogers was our leading receiver with 91 total yards. Brett Richards did do a good job of hauling a couple passes in. Charles was our 1 touchdown getter for our receivers as well. Look at Boss Bailey coming through with 9 total tackles. Sam Hamilton also getting to 8 total tackles on there as well. A little bit more defensive action from us there. Marcellus Wiley led the way with those sacks, but Chris Hovan did manage to get through, as well as Sean Rogers. And Dre Bly and our secondary did okay. We had Terrence Holt. Terry Torrance. This is just the Tory episode, I suppose. But we're going to move right on. We're going to go face the New York Jets in our home opener here in Detroit. Now, the Jets also didn't make too many changes over the offseason. We were feeling a little bit better about this matchup, thinking that maybe we were going to match up with them a little bit better stats-wise. And before we go into the second episode of our second season, the second game of our second season, regardless, smash that sub button, especially if you've made it this far. We're trying to hit that 250 subscriber mark as soon as we can, hopefully by the end of the summer. So if you haven't yet, taking that second to smash that sub button is always appreciated. Thanks for being here. Let's do game number 2. The New York Jets, Jets, are in those 4 fields of the Detroit Lions. Ready for game 2. We're getting another shot of Chris Hovan here, who did manage to break through for a sack, giving him 28.5 sacks on the year. On the other end of the ball, another very talented defensive lineman in Sean Ellis. They have a lot of defensive ends and tackles that are very impressive. We'll just go with impressive, intimidating, all of those things. But we have Chad Pennington on the ball here for the New York Jets, almost getting sacked on the second down throw, also going to land incomplete after that defense from our secondary. We're feeling pretty good. 2 throws, 2 good defensive plays, and then we absolutely just lose our minds right here. As you can see, I was user controlling Terrence Holt, which probably didn't help, but when you have an elite receiver with ridiculous ability and great speed like Santana Moss, if you're not playing perfect defense, he is going to burn you for 70 yards and a touchdown, and that is exactly what just happened right here. Sam Hamilton didn't have a hope or prayer of catching Santana Moss. Little Santana, the little boss, Santana Moss, getting into the end zone, and 20 seconds into the game, and the Lions find themselves down 7-0. On the first down, Jones gets up the middle for 2 yards. Hobson is in there on the stop. That throw over the middle, we run that play pretty much like a scripted second play of every game, and it's usually a good completion for us. That one is good to Hakeem for a gain of 14 yards. Harrington throws to the Jets pretty much on that first down pass. That one's going to land incomplete. That second down pass looked a little bit better, and McGraw comes out of nowhere to play a little bit of defense on it. Suddenly it's a 3rd and 10. Quick drop back, a little bit extra of a drop back, and the drop woes continue. That one was absolutely a drop from Hakeem. Maybe the hit affected him a little bit. We will never know. Lamont Jordan, the starting halfback for the Jets, runs to the left side for no gain. Boss Bailey was there for the play. Chad Pennington throws to Santana Moss, and this time he throws a gnarly stiff arm on Terrence Holt, who I was not user controlling that time. That's a gain for 23 yards, moved the chains up to the Jets' 46. Pennington finds his fullback Sowell for 3 yards, and then Jordan's going to run to the left side. Boss Bailey forces the fumble, but we can't jump onto it. Looks like Sowell actually recovered that fumble for the Jets, and just to make matters worse, Pennington finds his rookie receiver James Pena. Another lapse by our quote-unquote more talented side of the secondary, Terrence Holt and Dre Bly, unable to play defense in a cover 12 deep zone, completely loses James Pena, and the Jets, just like that, are up 14-0. So the Detroit Lions' woes continue here in this second game. You can see that just 2 guys completely missing on the pass defense there, and Welcome to the league, James Pena. He gets a 54-yard reception and a touchdown. Kevin Jones is going to run backwards for 2 yards. Sam Cowart is in the backfield to grab him there. 2nd and 12, Harrington's going to throw over the middle to an open Roy Williams. Actually catches that one. It's a 17-yard gain, move the chains up to the Detroit 46. Schlesinger's going to run to the right side. You see Kevin just kind of looking at him as he gets tackled by Reggie Tongue for no gain. If you can't tell, I'm very sick of Kevin Jones already, and I don't know if we're going to figure out how to move him this year, but halfback is our spot to address immediately moving forward, is my opinion. We get that incomplete pass on the first down from Harrington after getting a good 10-yard gain to Rodgers. Jones finally gets a gain for more than a yard up the middle. He's going to get 6 yards there, which gives Harrington the room to scramble over to the right side. Luckily, the defense doesn't read it in time. That's a 7-yard gain and a first down. Jones is going to get up the middle for 4 yards this time. Glenn is in there on the stop. 2nd and 6, Jones getting another run off the draw, shoots one guy out, doesn't quite get past McGraw for the first down. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 2, and Jones, this is Kevin Jones right here, just getting tackled right before the first down line. We decide to force it and go for it because we're already down by 2 scores, and Schlesinger just gets absolutely stuffed. Our middle blocking was abysmal, even though we have 92 overall Damian Woody, who is a Pro Bowler, and our 88 overall rookie center just completely missed the blocking up the middle where it's supposed to be, and we turned the ball over rather than getting 3 points and try again. So the Jets take over possession at their own 22. It's still the first freaking quarter, by the way. Jordan runs to the left side again. He's going to get 6 yards on this stretch out. Teddy Lehman is in there on the tackle. 3rd and 3, Jones is going to get it. Jordan's going to get it one more time. Bounces off of his own lineman twice. Terrence Holt gets through and gets the tackle for a loss of 3. We mercifully take it into the second quarter, only down by a score of 14-0, and we take over possession on our own 42. Harrington's going to throw that one over to that's wide open, and he drops this pass on contact. At this point, we are at a loss for wide. None of our receivers can catch absolutely anything. Jones gets over to the right side. It looked like way more than that, but we're only going to get a 3-yard gain on the tackle from Cowart. Maybe he didn't get his knee down in time or something. Charles Rodgers going to catch that pass. He stretches out as far as he can. We're going to need the chains one more time, and we are once again just short of that first down line, and we are once again gonna go for it on 4th down. This time Harrington keeps matters in his own hands with the keeper on the sneak. He gets 4 yards, which is more than a few inches, and we get a first down for the Detroit Lions from the Jets 45. Jones is going to get up the middle, gets his classic 1-yard gain after bouncing off of one of his own linemen. 2nd and 9, Harrington going to throw this one over to Azahir Akeed, who makes a very athletic leap up and grab, and actually, now this is a novel concept, holds on to the ball when he gets hit. Jones is going to get that toss to the left side, only getting 2 yards. Cowart once again in there on the hit and the stop. Harrington going to throw that one open to Roy. If he just had that timing a little bit better, it would have been a touchdown. And once again, another throw to the end zone and another interception from McGraw. And by another, I mean he did it in the last game as well. This was just straight up a bad throw. He had Azahir Hakeem here. Maybe he threw it a little bit lower, a little bit less in front of him. He would have had a better chance at it, but he threw it high and deep, which is much more in the hands of the taller defensive player of McGraw. That's going to give the Jets the ball back at their own 20. Lamont Jordan goes up the middle for 1 yard. Teddy Lehman gets the stop. We finally get an in and out of that drop from a receiver on the Jets. On the 2nd and 9, 3rd and 9, Pennington looking deep to the right side again. We lucked out because our rookie was going in a completely different direction from their rookie, James Pena, but he couldn't make magic happen again, so we're back to having the ball back again. We immediately go backwards 8 yards on the sack from Sam Cowart, who has been all over the field today. We're immediately sacked again by Ferguson for a loss of 7, and at this point we're like, well, I just don't want to throw an interception. Let me run some clock, and we'll give the Jets the ball back. Now, this might have been a mistake considering that they've been moving the ball on us like scissors running through paper, as Santana Moss gets another reception for 14 yards. Stepping up to the Jets 47, Pennington finds Moss again for a gain of 8 yards. 2nd and 2, Lamont Jordan getting over to the left side, finding those 2 yards, and gets the ball just over that first down line. 1st and 10 from the Detroit 43. Pennington's pass is incomplete over the middle, bounces around a little bit before falling to the ground, but never fear, Santana Moss is here. 2nd and 10, Pennington throwing over the middle to a wide open Santana Moss, who has just been eating up Dre Bly's lunch all day today. He has done absolutely everything he can to embarrass Dre Bly the entire time. We're going to see a little flash of goodness from our first-round pick here. Cedric Navarro getting off of the line quickly, getting that sack on Pennington for a loss of 5. And that pass over to the left side is going to fall incomplete, which leads to a 51-yard field goal by Todd Peterson, the former San Francisco 49er, signed with the New York Jets in the offseason. And he can't quite make that field goal from 51 yards out. It didn't really have the distance, it did have the direction, and we're going to head into halftime. Again, mercifully, only down 14-0, considering the 2 fourth downs that we absolutely blew and the couple of interceptions that we threw when we were in scoring position. So I'm not sure that the Jets are winning this game so much as we're absolutely losing it. As you can see here, our defense is doing a pretty good job on the running game, which is something that we've always been concerned about, but maybe one day our secondary and our running defense will play well at the same time. Apparently today is not that day. Kevin Jones once again running for his life as far as he can to the outside, doesn't get any sort of blocking. That's only a gain of 2 yards. And then we'll go back 4 yards on the sack from Ferguson from the lack of blocking up front. And then Harrington's going to haul that one up on a prayer to Roy Williams, who decided that he was going to start catching footballs in this second half. That's a gain of 21 yards, move the chains up to the Jets' 46. Kevin Jones going to catch this one over on the flat, gets 8 yards before the tackle from Abraham over on the right side. Harrington's going to find Rodgers on that quick hook route. It's just going to be a 3-yard gain, but a 3-yard gain moves the chains into the Jets' 35. Jones going to run to that left side. He's going to avoid a tackle with that juke. Sam Coward gets him for a run of 5 yards. Jones going to run it again, getting 2 yards over. Again, the blocking just not there, and Tongue is in there for the stop. 3rd and 3. Harrington dropping back, looking short. Pass again, finds Charles Rodgers, who makes the athletic grab and manages to hold on to it. That's going to be a first down from the Jets' 23. Harrington looking back, doesn't like what he sees, scrambles out to that left side, slides down before he can take any punishment. That's a 12-yard gain. Bring us up to the Jets' 11. Harrington's going to find the rookie Brett Richards again. That's a 5-yard gain before the tackle from Abraham. Harrington going to drop back, throwing it over to the left flat. Kevin Jones has it, going to try and get over to the end zone, but Schote hits him before he can get up into the end zone, and then Schlesinger makes somebody miss. It looks like he pulls Reggie Tongue over with that shoulder truck, and the Lions are finally on the board. It's a touchdown from Corey Schlesinger, and they've chipped away at the lead. It's now a score of 7-14. The Lions now looking like they're sort of back on this, and can someone please explain to me what that dude was doing? You just see our rookie Flower, I think his name is. I should probably know his name at this point, but he just jumps into oblivion. Luckily, there was a holding call back at the offensive line, so that's going to back them all the way up to their own 18 on the 1st and 20. They get 14 of those yards back on the completion to Santana Moss. Lamont Jordan finally getting a little room in front of him, only going to get that run to 2 yards on the tackle from Holmes and Bly, but Jordan gets it again, has even more room on that left side. He gets tackled out of bounds by Sam Hamilton. That's a 10-yard gainer up to the Jets' 44. The fullback Sowell going up the middle for 4 yards. Kalimba Edwards in for a tired Hall, gets the tackle. It's a 4-yard gain. Jordan getting another run up the middle for 4 yards. That's going to be a 3rd and inches for Jordan up the middle, who's going to get the first down and gets hit with that face mask. Laban getting a huge grip of his face mask there. That's going to push, I guess it was incidental, but it seemed like it was a pretty rough face mask, so that's going to bring them up to a 1st and 10 from the Detroit 40. Pennington connecting with Moss there, who hangs on to that one despite the brutal hit. Going into the 4th quarter, the Jets are certainly not running away with it yet. The Lions are still in it by a score of 7-14. 1st and 10 from the Detroit 26. Pennington rolling over to his right side. Who else but Santana Moss is going to find himself all alone. A couple of missed assignments. Loses Dre Bly. Sam Hamilton can't react in time. And Santana Moss is in the end zone once again with just seconds ticking off of the 4th quarter. The score is now 21-7. The New York Football Jets seem to have found a little bit of composure here in 2005 at the beginning of this season. Harrington gets sacked by Abraham for a loss of 5 yards. The offense is looking rough, ladies and gentlemen. Brett Richards can't hold on to that one. It's going to be trying to get all of the wind back in one throw with that one. On the 3rd and 15, we haul another one deep up for Charles Rodgers, who manages to hold on to that one. It's a 22-yard gain. Harrington trying to put any sort of momentum together, has his pass tipped up and intercepted by, you guessed it, Sam freaking Coward, who has been absolutely everywhere on the field today. He probably leads the team. He probably leads the game in tackles. He's gotten a sack, and he managed to become an absolute ball hawk with that interception, and the first chance for the Lions to do anything is squandered. Jordan gets up the middle for about 5 yards on the tackle from Lehman and Hamilton after the incomplete pass was knocked away at the defensive line. 3rd and 5, that one is also thrown errantly by Pennington, and the Lions have another chance to score and make this thing a game again. Harrington's going to actually find Roy Williams for 15 yards. That's a first down, move the chains. 1st and 10 for the Detroit 35. Harrington looking Williams again, who has a step on his defender, has the reception, and a couple of extra yards for a 20-yard gain. 1st and 10 from the Jets 45. Harrington throwing that one deep, has Derek Hamilton with a step, and Derek can't hold on to it. Story of the video so far. Harrington still in shotgun, throwing over the middle. Brett Richards in his hands, out of his hands. You hate to see it. 3rd and 10 from the shotgun. Harrington doesn't even have enough time to throw it. He had a man looking downfield. It might have been his tight end, but Darby breaks through for the sack and the loss of 8. And Lamont Jordan gets a block, gets a little bit of momentum behind him. That's an 18-yard run, and not what the Lions need if they want a hope of coming back into this game. What they do need are tackles for loss from Boss Bailey, which is exactly what happens right there. Jordan runs to the right side. He's going to get tackled from behind by Teddy Lehman, but Teddy didn't learn his freaking lesson and gets another big grasping of face masks. This one is called intentional, so it's a huge gain all the way up into Detroit territory. On that run to the right side, Cedric Navarro showing his value again, breaking out of his block, getting the tackle for a loss of 3 yards. If we can think of any bright spots from this game, is that we're really enjoying what we're seeing out of our first-round pick, Cedric Navarro. You know what we don't like seeing? Seeing guys getting stiff-armed by Lamont freaking Jordan for a gain of 9 yards all the way up. Thankfully, it wasn't a first down. That gives the Lions another chance to get into the end zone before the end of this game. That first incomplete pass is called defensive pass interference by the referees, so the Lions getting bailed out a little bit on that first play. That's going to move them all the way up to their own 42. Harrington dropping back from shotgun, looking deep over to the left side, getting Roy Williams to get the ball, and he gets a 25-yard gain, somehow holds up to that one, even though it was a brutal hit. Harrington trying to roll out, rolling up to his left side, scrambles for about 6 yards. Greg Ellis gets in there for the stop. 2nd and 4, Harrington. Suddenly him and Williams are connecting a little bit more. That's a 15-yard reception. All 3 receptions have been made by Roy Williams so far. Another instance of he was supposed to cut out towards the corner and he just didn't do it. Luckily, that one wasn't intercepted. Harrington rolling right, throwing over the middle. Again, that one I thought we had. It was in his hands. It felt like a step or two before he dropped it. Unfortunately, incomplete. Once again, throwing into the end zone, into many Jets defenders. That brings up a 4th and 10. I watched the replay back on that one a couple times. We had Roy wide open over the middle. We also had Azzy here wide open over the middle, who catches it and loses it on contact. That was 4th down. The Jets defense stands tall on the red zone situation, and the Lions fans have seen enough. The Jets would get the ball back and just go ahead and kneel this one out. That's going to take us to the end of this game. Not the start that we were hoping for. The Lions go 0-2 in their first 2 games of the season. You can see that there are some definite issues on both the offensive and the defensive side of the ball that we need to start to figure out how to address. But for this game, we're going to head out of Ford Field, Detroit 7, New York 21. Looking at the tail of the stats tape, we actually kept the stats fairly even between the two teams. The Jets did outgain us by about 60 yards or so, combined with the run and the pass, but those 2 turnovers, killer. As we predicted, Sam Cowart was a killer for us as well. Joey Harrington only throwing for 50%, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Chad Pennington made our secondary looks like child's play, honestly. Lamont Jordan had a good day. Joey Harrington had a better rushing day than Kevin Jones did. That's never a good sign. And, of course, the 1 touchdown for Schlesinger. Santana Moss absolutely destroyed us. 8 receptions for 183 yards. Roy Williams, I guess, did okay, but he really didn't wake up until the end of the game. And we had a lot of drops, and we didn't manage to get into the end zone from our receptions at all. Like we said, Sam Cowart had a great game, but we didn't really have an especially impressive game from anyone on the defensive side of the ball. It was cool to see Cedric Navarro get a sack and get a good tackle for a loss. Our secondary did not play up to snuff, especially considering that we have Dre Bly back there, and they didn't have any takeaways on the defensive end as well. So that's going to do it for our first 2 games today. We have the Green Bay Packers, who are conspicuously 0-2. If you're familiar with this game, it's virtually impossible that Brett Favre stays on the team, and it looks like that the Green Bay Packers have done something about it. Now, this was the first email that we got after this game ended. Aaron Brooks from the New Orleans Saints has been traded to the Green Bay Packers for Gbaja-Biamila, which means I won't have to say that name for the next video, which is awesome, but we will have to contend with the likes of Aaron Brooks at quarterback when we take on the Packers to open up conference play. So thank you for coming out. We're going to try and get some dubs in this next video for sure, and if we don't get some dubs, or even if we do get some dubs, we might be making some trades sooner than later. So definitely smash that sub button, especially if you've made it all the way to the end of the video. I really, really appreciate you being here. Liking or commenting on the video always helps regardless for the engagement and all that good stuff. I've started putting my slider settings in all the descriptions for the video, so check out my slider settings there if you have questions about that. And for myself, Peanuts 24/7, we will see you on the next one. Bye!